First thing we're going to do is look at this. So this is an example of local data. So maybe the player has a GUI screen, and this is a button. And maybe this button gives an output, and maybe this output is 3. And now this is my Roblox character right here. And now he clicks this button and gets the output of 3. But only he can see this output. It's almost like he's thinking about it, because when you think about something, nobody else knows what you're thinking about. So everybody else in the game doesn't see this. So if I click this button, I get my output, only I can see it. But him, he doesn't see it. However, if he has his own button and he clicks it and he gets an output, maybe his output is something like 4 or 3 or 2, it doesn't really matter, it can be anything. I don't see that. Only he does. And this is because it's client and it's local, which means only the player sees this, not the rest of the server. Here's an example of server-side data. So let's say this is my character right here, and this is another player in the server. Let's say I clicked a button. But however, this time, this button showed the entire server something. So maybe this is 3. So it's like me thinking something, but then speaking it out loud. I click this button, I said it out loud. This is client side because the entire server can see it and hear it. Now, this is done through something called RemoteEvents. That's really bad, sorry. RemoteEvents. And what a remote event does is it connects your local script that might be in your GUI to a server script. And a server script is called a server script because it can access anything in the server and can do practically anything in Roblox Studio. Here's my next example. So inside Roblox Studio right here, we have a button inside our starter GUI with the screen GUI, text button, and a local script underneath this button. If I click play, and then I click this button that says click me, I see my Roblox username. Now, this is client-side data, which means this is the thing that we're thinking about and nobody else can see. If I go up here in the home tab and I click current server, this is what the entire server sees. There's my character right there, and there's a button that says click me. Notice how it doesn't say my username. This is because this is the server. I'm in here thinking or seeing that. Nobody else can see that. It's because it is client and it is local. Here's an example of our code. We have local button equals script.parent. What this is doing is it is getting the button from our script. And then we have a function right here, local function button on clicked or on button click. Once we click this button, it calls this function. And then inside here, we are getting the players and then the local player. And then we're making the button text display the player name. This is all client side because it is all in the GUI, and mainly because absolutely because it's inside a local script. So it's a local, it's on the client. This is what we think. It is not what the server sees. Okay, now this is an example of the server being used. So we have the exact same button here that used to do something only locally. But now we have a part in our workspace. Let's see what happens when we click this button. It changes the color of the part. Now, it does this because we took something that's local and it made a remote event, which triggered this. So if we go to the home and then we click current client, we can see what the server sees. So as you can see, this entire server, we have the server perspective. They see this purple part. So that means we've done something locally that affected the server. This is how it works. So now we're in the editor. If we go to local script, this was our original local script. So it's the exact same. The only thing we changed was we did game.replicatedStorage.remoteEvent. So what this is doing is going to the game, accessing replicated storage, and selecting the remote event. So what we've done is we go to the Explorer and we added a remote event inside the replicated storage. You just do this by clicking plus and clicking remote event. But we have this here. In this command right here, it does fire server. So it's like saying it activates this remote event from the GUI down here, from the client. So it's like we're putting a trail of gasoline and we're lighting the match, and it's just going through. As soon as we drop this match, it fires up and it lights everything on fire. So what is it lighting on fire? If we go to the script here, we have a server script service, which is for this server. And what this script is doing is it's going game.replicatedStorage.remoteEvent. So it's doing the same thing. It's going to replicated storage and it's accessing the remote event. Next we have .onServerEvent, which is basically catching that flame that we dropped. So it's saying, okay, I see that it's been fired. Now let me recognize that. So recognizing that and putting it into a function. Okay, and we have an argument named player. So what this does in this function is just access the workspace and change the color of this part. Because this part right here wasn't originally pink, but we've done that. So the key things you need to know is how to access this by doing game.replicatedStorage.remoteEvent.onServerEvent. You access this when you are catching that remote event. Now when you're firing that remote event, you always want to do the fire server. This is used when you want to fire the server, typically from a local script or client-sided data where you can't access the rest of the server. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you found any of the content in this video useful, please leave a like and subscribe down below. I also have a lot of other content on my channel that can help you learn scripting. And if I missed anything, let me know in the comments. See you guys in the next one.